Exclusive from Address in the House.
Kama ilivyo ada, kama unajisikia professional enough, a music enthusiast enough, an arts lover enough, ikikuja kwa sanaa na muziki ya Kenya, unaweza niambia huo ni wimbo upi nimeanza kucheza, tuone umefikia kiwango kipi cha kujichocha. Na nimekumbuka nilisema nafaa kuacha kufanya hii segment, but the reason ninaendelea kuifanya ni for one person and one person only. Edna Sangaka, kama una watch, I am not sure, lakini this is for you kwa sababu wewe ndio unachangamkianga hii segment, umeifanya once, so inaku afford some grace for an amount of time, for a period of time kidogo, before pia wewe nikuweke na the other people na niache kufanya hii segment all together mwanzoni na mwisho wa hizi sessions. Karibu to another Sanaa Sana Sunday session. Natumai hali yako ni njema on this 7th day of August 2022 at 11:12 p.m. Tutaanza na our recap na to work our way hadi how and why we are here for this evening's discussion. Obviously itaenda hadi Monday, because you have an intellectual who will join us later atuambie intellectual things, to engage in intellectual discourse kuhusu the reason ya siku kwa hapa, as the video title inasema. Sasa niko peke yangu, so inanipatia the opportunity ya kusema hivi because you're watching this later. Inanipatia power. Last week tulikuwa tuna celebrate muziki ya wiki before to celebrate the 2nd year anniversary in a few weeks time. Tulikuwa tuna celebrate 100 weeks of muziki ya wiki, a weekly blog segment at sanakosana.wordpress.com. Tuko na 3 more weeks. Intellectual ametujoin, so tuko na 3 more weeks tufike 2 years of muziki ya wiki. But last week ilikuwa kucelebrate 100 weeks of muziki ya wiki. Please check out that video uone how the journey has been na place imefika. Tuta get deeper into the actual journey when we do our 2-year anniversary. Baada ya hiyo tukaongelea Open Friday, an event that imekuwa ikifanywa at Power 254 since 2017. Power wali moving waka shift bases, sikumbuki when exactly, sijui kama ilikuwa 2020, but they moved still around the same area, but walisonga na nilikuwa huko after a long time for another edition ya Open Friday where K9 alikuwa ana perform as well as Divine na Ali ni mwimbaji wa band inayoitwa L'Afrique. Divine na K9 Zinrhyme ni wasanii wa word. Na lastly tukaongelea Dance Life Festival. So Dance Life Festival na hiyo Open Fridays ili happen that same week. Open Friday on Friday, obviously. Dance Life Festival is going to happen on Saturday and Sunday. Nika attend on Sunday at the Kenya Cultural Center at the Kenya National Theatre. Baada ya hapo pale YouTube nilizitaja tukifanya video, tukifika mwisho kulikuwa na muziki ya wiki 2.08. Tulianza kufanya muziki, ama nilianza, acha niseme ni mimi because ni mimi nilianza kufanya muziki ya wiki on YouTube. So kesho tumefika 9. It feels good. Zinakimbia haraka whenever I am recording hizo videos. Inakuanga imeenda so fast. Na feeling my weeks zimekuwa shorter. Then edit them and then upload them. So if you are subscribed kwa channel, na unapata kama notifications possibly umeipata, ama kama umekuwa kwa channel before uone hii video or before this particular day ya mimi kurecord, possibly ushapata recommendation ya the premiere. Ina premiere kesho asubuhi 8 am, August 8th 8 am. Baada ya hiyo mziki ya wiki 2.08 kuna reviews nilizotaja apart from your video. Yeah, one of those was Mathai Njama's debut EP Matter of the Man. The other was Jaquil's EP Finding Flows. Hizo zilikuwa zina precede fun, interactive, exciting videos that siufanya around the mid-year. This time zimekuja way past the mid-year mark. Last year tulizifanya in June, zilitoka I think in June or early July, but tulizifanya in June. This time hatukuweza, na nilisema makosa si yangu, ama mtu mwenye akona hiyo responsibility ama na take hiyo lawama, uliza the rest of the team. Mimi si unanijua na venye mfanya kazi yangu, haiwezi kuwa blame yangu, haiwezi kuwa, uliza the rest. But either way, as I said kwa the first video of your batch ya hizi videos naongelea, no one cares and no one asks for this, but we are doing them because we are Sanaa kwa sana. What I am referring to ni our mid-year lists, our mid-year videos, our mid-year conversations za the top projects of the year so far. So kuna top 5 EPs of 2022, kuna top 3 hip hop projects, na kuna top 5 albums. Find your time on hizo videos. The numbers are doing good. EPs 27 views, ya hip hop 21, ya albums 18. Release in that order, so that's a good performance. Na EPs iko na 7 likes, so tuko sawa, tuna perform vizuri, tuna try, tumekuwa tuki grow gradually and I am enjoying it, and the interaction too napenda sana. And hizo ndizo videos tumerelease hii wiki, and sasa tuko hapa for a conversation that nimesema tunangoja our intellectual person mwenye ametujoin a few moments ago, so itakuwa chance yake in a few atujoin atu break it down. Dance Life Festival siku yenye mimi nilienda, because that is all that matters. Nimetaja Dance Life Festival as part of our conversation ya last week. Niligusia kidogo mimi na my pseudo analysis of the performances, because I am not a dancer na mimi si intellect na a pundit hiyo sector. So babu akasema kama niko in, aliona hakuna haja nichome watu wake picha, atakuja tusaidie kuunderstand kile kilikuwa kinafanyika. Wairimu Nicole, if you're watching this, wewe ndiye rafiki niliyetaja last week nikisema ulisema ulienda on Saturday, it was quite something. Uli comment on that video ukisema kuna so much hukuwa unashikanisha. You are in the right place. This is what you have been waiting for. Na tuko na the right person wa kutu take through this conversation. As I said last week, the Dance Life Festival event ilikuwa preceded na number of activities. Walikuwa na workshops tofauti prior to the event happening on the 30th and the 31st. Workshops several weeks before, then other workshops hiyo wiki during the week of, eventually waka imalize ka culminate na the performances za those 2 days. Kama unataka more information on the actual workshops, the details regarding anything else pia preceding what we are about to discuss, unaweza angalia our video ya last week, hiyo Sunday session. It really happened on a Monday. Yes, ili happen on 1st August. Ili happen bado. Na interestingly, Babu ali mention how my lives happen regardless. Wairimu pia uliniambia hiyo kitu. That's what I was referring to nikikwambia. It was interesting that you noted that and someone else had done the same. Babu had also noted that. Tuliifanya. Unaweza check your video or nikupunguzia stress ya kuona video refu. Ataka I want your time and your view na engagement. Unaweza enda kwa page ya Goethe-Institut Kenya. Utapata information Goethe_Kenya on Instagram. Pia Facebook unaweza pata information more. So tunataka kuchangamkia the dances ambazo performers wali stage on Sunday. And Babu can possibly, if anakumbuka na kona the details na anaweza na angependa, anaweza to summarize ya day 1 then to get into day 2 depending on how Babu you want to go about this. Feel free, feel unadai, but importantly day 2 unatuambia kuhusu the dances ambazo wasanii wali stage. Anything else ni by the way inadepend na how generous una feel. So kulikuwa na before Babu ni mruhusu dances 4 hiyo siku ya pili. Program ilikuwa na performances za mziki, performance moja but ili happen msanii mmoja but ali perform twice. Michelle Ongaro alianzisha akakuja ka interlude na kulikuwa na films and the dances. Babu alituambia last week that day 1 program ilikuwa as ilivyokuwa kwa posters. Day 2 wali improvise, waka adapt on the spot, but we'll get through these 4 performances with our guest who's joined us before. If you are a Sanaa kwa Sanaa follower, supporter, fan, super fan, hatuna super fans, tuko na super fans, acha nisiwe disrespectful. Ilikuwa niseme hatuna because hatujaanza kuwa charge kutuona, so siko sure about your level of being a super fan. We shall gauge this once we start our Patreon. For now tuko na super fans. Umeona Babu ametujoin before for intellectual conversations na namkaribisha tena for this conversation. In case usikie audio reception quality imebadilika ni because I am about to remove my microphone, so neza end up sijakuwa as clear as I am at the moment. Mimi sina earphones za Babu but kwa sana kusikiza mziki I'm the one with the best sound quality. Mimi ndo sikia kila kitu yenye msanii alifanya kwa studio na producer. Voila.
Thank God I don't have those earphones you're talking about.
Ndio naona you've dismantled my statement. Just
Na
like that.
nilizitoa right before this because nilijua we ni mtiaji. Nilijua we ni mtiaji, ndio maana nikatoa kabla nifike hapa. I knew. I know the way you move.
You do. I'm glad you do.
Yeah.
Mimi ni msee mzuri bwana. Mimi ni msee mzuri. Najua you people will be coming here very quickly.
I hope they've slept so that that one too we dismantle. That one I can control. I can pray and manifest that by the time they get here, I'm out of here. Today I have
That is
disability
up to you.
aids.
Nimeona umeamua kuja na earphones kama kuja na glasses.
Hizi urembo yako lazima nione vizuri. Sauti yako nimezoea kusikiza. Urembo yako lazima nione vizuri. Huh?
Sauti umezoea?
Sauti nimezoea.
Haya, human, unaweza jitambulisha na nishasema ndio hiyo Anita. It wasn't up to you. It was not up to you. Ni aje Anita?
Hi Anita. On Saturday of our dance live festival. Okay, he said nianze na kujitambulisha. Hi, my name is Seise Bagbo. My name is Seise Bagbo, and we're here today to talk about Dance Live Festival. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So Dance Live Festival.
Babo aendelee kidogo tu Babo. Ndio just in case mnauliza, we saw Babo speaking about the last time at least Kendrick or MWE. If you watched any of those videos, unashanga ana qualify aje kuongelea dance.
I qualify for everything. I qualify for everything. By virtue of being this Seise Bagbo, I qualify. I qualify. I qualify. There is nothing else.
Intersection itself.
Yeah.
So there is something fascinating nili come across a few hours ago. So this is enough to kuonyesha huyu binadamu mwenye ako na sisi.
What you're about to do.
No, if you don't trust me, you don't. Mbona unitrust? Of course. Something that I came across kuonyesha huyu binadamu amequalify. Hizo glasses za kuchocha. Hii ni intellect bana. I hope.
Why did you get that though? I just have a feeling you were doing something you're not supposed to do.
No, I was doing something I was supposed to do, and then I came across it. Unakumbuka ni mwaka gani?
Yeah. That's 2015.
20?
2015 yes. At Go Down, rehearsals for Within Fear of the Unknown. And it was around, I think, is it September?
Yes.
Though the show happened, or yes, that's September.
2015. So this is posted by. What is the production you're working with?
Choreographic Conversations.
And the dance production, the usually partners. Oh, where's the honor? It's a bit far.
No.
Oh, the light is let's see. If I switch this off.
Even with these glasses, bado ni bure tu hivi. CC Dance Production. Oh my God. Yeah. And funny thing, CC Dance Production did not belong to me. That's the craziest part. Like, I know someone would think that, oh yeah, I created CC Dance Production. CC Dance Production is Vico Walker's dance house. Yeah, they're the ones who created that. I even have no stakes. But now it has grown. CC Dance Production has grown to Vic Dance Production. So, yeah. Hizo ni mazungumzo zenye tutaenda DM.
This is September 2015. hosted on 12th
Yes,
September 2015.
yes.
Wow, almost 7 years
Because
ago. Insane.
yeah, the show was going to be on 25th September 2015. The first
Mm,
showcase. And then the second showcase was in October uh, at Michael Joseph Center.
mm.
Yeah.
Ndo hizo qualifications, ndo hiyo CV ya Babo, in case ulikuwa na wasiwasi, huyu mbona anaongelea kila kitu, but ashasema by virtue of yeye kuwa Babo ana qualify kuongelea
I
anything and
qualified.
everything.
Yeah.
It was interesting how I came across that. So Babo, you can take it away.
What were you
Ulianza na
looking for?
Saturday.
I didn't even know that photo exists on the internet. What are you looking for?
We move on.
Nimeshindwa. Ulikuwa unatafuta nini?
Mi ni yule msee.
I see you. But yeah, so Dance Live Festival ran, I think through the last week of July. Throughout that week, it was just, there were workshops for different dance styles and different dances. So how dance works is you do a master class. So almost everyone who's featured, you have to do a master class. If you're featured to perform, you do a master class. The master class could be a breakdown of your work, or just what your technique, your way of creation, through your creation process, and then you just like passing knowledge. So I think that's what it is just about. And the entire week, most of the people we saw perform had done their own workshops and master classes. The guest choreographer is Musa, and Musa is from Durban, South Africa. And so through that entire time, most of the work, Musa's work was going to be the one showcased the most, like, because he's the guest choreographer and all that. Everyone else was a resident choreographer, except Luanda Mori also was a guest, but that was a guest performer, not a guest choreographer. They were a guest performer because they don't come from Kenya. Yeah, so the main performances were on Saturday and Sunday, and then, yeah. The way I noticed this, I didn't, the whole thing is always organized. This was the third one. So it's always organized by Adam Chenjo. And Brighton, still what people from Choreographic Conversations, and that's Nema Bagamhunda, all those people, all those awesome choreographers from like the generation, I think, before us in terms of dance. And the way they always organize this work is the first work that they showcase, that's how they showcase it. The first one is work that has been in existence, work that wasn't created for this particular space, or it's just work that has been in existence, right? That even if it's showcased, it's been showcased elsewhere, it's been there for, I think, more than 2 years. That's how they always work. Like, this is work that has been there for more than 2 years. It's work that has been in existence. And then they have the second like batch of work. So like this particular one, they were having 4 performances per day. So the second and third performance, from what I noticed from both day 1 and day 2, was that they were works that were in progress. So it wasn't work that was being, it was being created. It was still in the space of being created. It's not complete work, but it's being created. It's in the progress of itself. And then the last work was, it's always also work by the resident choreographers or master choreographer or the principal choreographer, right? And the first day, the principal choreographer is Musa. So the first day his work was the one was shown, and then the second day we had the guest choreographer or the guest performer, who's Luanda Mori, and their work was the one that was shown on that second day by Shelley. So yeah, that's how they work. Like the last batch is work that has been created by the principal choreographer or the master choreographer, and that's the work that does the cutting close. And then the work that begins it is familiar work. So dance is a very small industry. So you'll find the work that starts is work that we all know. We've all like interacted with it at some point. It's work that we know. And then the work that will come after it's almost like, yeah, work from the very familiar to the most unfamiliar. And then the work that you go into is work that is in progress or work that has just been completed. It's not yet rooted yet. It could be its first presentation or its second presentation, but it has not been in existence. Yeah. And then the third work most of the time is the work that you'll find has themes. Yeah. It's like according to the theme of the entire dance thing. Yes. So that is the method that I realized they also used. When we go for dance tours, it's still the same method. Like the work that starts is work that is very familiar. Most probably work that was even presented last year. So they start with that. And then they go on and on and on to work that is very new. And has been created by the guests. So the guests are the ones who do their performance last. Now, on Saturday, you have a question. Yeah.
Kuna a reason that sort of order? Ama it's just a tradition that doesn't really have a specific premise?
I really think the premise is the way we do with all arts, that you'll find there is the reason why we are at this festival. There, the people, it's not really curtain raisers, but the people who are coming to the stage with you, the people who are doing the opening for you, right? And then when the dance performance is ending, they are now the people who are like, this is for you. That's why they're there. And oh, Giovanni, it's been a while. Yeah, that's why they're there. So that the premise of organizing dance festivals like that is just the way we organize art. That you came to see Sauti Sol, but you'll meet Anviri, Ben Sol, and then Sauti Sol. Or you guys go to a festival and then we will start, any person who knows how to organize art will start with very easy ways until even, let's say artists, when artists are performing, most of the time we find they start with songs that people know so that they can draw you close, and then is when they introduce you, oh guys, I wrote a new song, or I'm in the process of writing a new song, and then they, oh, what do you think about it? And then they go on and on. So that is still, I just think it's the art. Art is the premise of it. I don't think there is a reason. If there is, they didn't teach me that in dance school. There is.
You skipped class that day.
I skipped class that day. Yeah.
Unaweza endelea. Thank you for that.
And then on Saturday. So Saturday was the first day. Our interlude was Niam. I don't remember which country Niam comes from, but Niam was like, all right, Giovanni, we will talk. Okay.
People passing by.
Yeah. Niam, I don't know which country Niam comes from, but they were the interlude for the first day. Again, another thing dance does where they have interludes. So the interlude most of the time is always music. I've never seen anything else interlude for dance. It's always music. I rarely, or instrumentalists, but it's never, like, it's always something to do with music. So Niam started, and then the first day there was some sort of delay the thing was supposed to start at 5:30. The entire thing was supposed to start at 5:30, and then Adam, yeah, if he's gonna watch this, he knows. I was like, well, we don't start at 5:30, and then Adam was like, no, we're giving them 30 minutes to get here. Then it was 6. And we just went upstairs, and then the entire performance started at 6:30. So we gave them 1 hour. We didn't give them 30 minutes. Yeah, we did. We did the entire. The interlude was about, I think, Niam sang, I think, almost 5, 6 songs, or 5 songs. I think it was 5 songs. And then I can't lie that I remember I was really waiting for the dance. I was just, and then most of Niam's music was like really mellow, and yeah, I don't want to say things that will get IG to shut you down. So let's just go with, it was really mellow, and that was good. That was amazing for the people who enjoy really mellow music. And yeah, then the first act on stage was Tumshangilie Mtoto, and Tushangilie Mtoto is, it's a space, right? They have a lot of art in that space, like a lot of art, because it's based on, it's a children's home situation. So they have a lot of art. And their act was called The Lost Child. They first started with playing, they're called the brass band. They were playing brass instruments, and it was amazing. Like, it was amazing, whatever they were doing. They played it so well. Obviously, it was Christian based, because there is no way to save people without sticking it to Christian morality. So it was Christian based. And then they did the national anthem, which I was shocked when people stood up for, because I was like, no one said stand up. They're performing, but people stood up because they wanted to look like they're patriotic. Shade. Yeah. Then after the brass band performed, the dancers got in. Their dance was Afro-contemporary dance. I enjoyed it. I really did. I really did. Like, it was a storyline that you could follow. I felt like the choreographer, because I think the guy who was dancing on stage and did so many solos is the choreographer and is their resident dance teacher. I felt like he also wanted to show his dance skills, which was amazing. But tumshangilie mtoto, like, let the kids win. That's why we're fighting for kids. Like, let the kids win. Let the kids win. Yeah, I really was rooting for those children, and he did an amazing job. And then, you know, with dance, choreographing dance, when you're going to dance for so long, you have, dance is almost like music. The way music, and I realize people who create poets are the ones who don't have that. Dancers are the ones who have the starting, like the way music has the verses and then the bridge and the chorus, things like those, right? So to me, I thought, like, there will be, like, if you've noticed, like, you were there on the second day and you notice that there is a bit of repetition, because that's how dance is choreographed. If it's going to be for that long, there has to be one count of 8 or 2 counts of 8. Most of the time you find really good choreographers do even 3 counts of 8. So that these 3 counts of 8 that they keep just repeating throughout the entire piece, anything will change and then they will come back to that. So it's like the chorus and then they do that. So that is the rooting of the dance choreography. And he was doing that. what was amazing was the way the kids were really aware, because choreographing with kids, you have to have very important points of where they'll know where to go in and all that, because kids keep their own counts. They don't count the same. They say you count with your heartbeats. If anything, their heartbeats are even faster. So they don't count the same. And there was a time it felt like that. There was a time there was that. There was, because the kids didn't know when to lie down. They were doing let's lie down. I think they were creating a circle, and then they were going to lie down, then they didn't know when. So things like those, because it was choreographing with music, he didn't have like a song. Most of the time when you choreograph with kids, you choreograph with a song. So you tell them, when the person says this, you guys know it's time to do this. But with a repetitive beat, there is no time. They'll have to count. And that's giving kids a lot of work. They're trying to remember your choreography at the same time they're trying to do this. They're trying to hit also the right beats. There was a time they felt lost, and I realized that that was something the choreographer should have been very aware of, that, oh, with kids, you have to be very much aware of the fact that they're struggling through so many things. In that moment, they're so distracted. There are people, sometimes people are clapping for them, people are happy, and kids, you're happy, they want to join your happiness. They forget there's an entire choreography to do. So that was amazing. I didn't understand the reason for, they did acrobatics at some point. I told you they have a lot of art. I've been there before. When they did the acrobatics, I didn't understand why. Why? But I guess it's also to showcase, which brings me, like, I was hoping this won't ever get political, but you know me. The way these spaces are really presented, that those kids can't enjoy their art. Their art always has to showcase the best of them. Like, everything has to be there because they have to make an impression so that people can like them. And it's how orphanages are. That, oh, have you ever gone to an orphanage? Because there was a time I was really going to those spaces, and that's how I went to Shangilia Mtoto. And you get there, and the first thing, they're paraded and they have to sing for you. They're doing all these things. You're like, I only needed water to drink and leave. I don't know what this is about. I just want water. Can I get water? Okay, bye. They do that. They posture these kids so much. And I felt they really took away from that powerful choreography because they were dancing Afro-contemporary. Like, Afro-contemporary is a lot of work and a lot of strength. Their choreographer had beats of contemporary dance in terms of technique, but their dance was mostly Afro-contemporary, and even the beats and everything. So I didn't understand why the acrobat act had to happen. Like, why are we doing it? Are we doing it to just showcase to people, like, oh, we can do this too, look at me, I can do this too, look at me, I can do this too. And it took away from that choreography. I felt like the brass band created this space, and then the dancers got into that space that was already created. The acrobats, obviously, if you've ever been where acrobatics happen, you know that they displaced energy like no one's business. They displaced that entire energy. Then it felt like it had to be called back. So after that, it came to the end, but it made the dance anticlimactic because we are just getting to, wow, what was that? And then people are on one wheel bikes, like, what the hell? Why are we doing that? That's dangerous. Somewhere people are throwing things in the air. And I know it's so cute. We posted children like that, like, you're so tiny and you get to do all these things you think is magic. And so it's cute. But I really think we should have just let those kids do that. The entire time I felt like they're the ones who did the most in terms of performance. So I think there was that need for them to show up with so much. That worthiness I hope we discuss it sometime. I hope we discuss it sometime. But the way those kids were postured, I wasn't amazed. Like, I wasn't amazed. Teacher wao ndio unachuna kwa giza. Kimpata kwa giza. I wasn't amazed. Like, I felt like they did such an amazing job, but they had to do so much, which took away from their message constantly. And then they became entertainers. They became see me, see me, see me. And this was not one of those dance shows where you do that. Like, they should have just left them at the band and then the performers and then just let them be. But I realized also in those spaces is where it's the first time people get to showcase their work. So the acrobats also had to come back and showcase something. Yeah, so we need to create better spaces for them, maybe. I don't know, maybe rethink around that. And the second performance of the night was from Click House Production. Click House Production had two people we danced with way back, that is Rambo. I don't know if he still uses that name, Rambo and Edgar. It was so amazing. Their dance was called Onata, which every person was like, see the light. And I realized, please, Ona Mwangaza, see the light. Onata, see the lamp, the candle. I don't know. What? See the light, Onata? Even though we change mini national anthem, yenyu vibaya. Because what do you mean Onata is see the light? Yeah, but their performance, it was technique based. It had even Sue. There are very few people I didn't know on that stage. It was very, very, very technique based. They had concepts. Not that they didn't have concepts. Their performance had concepts. They had moments of concepts. They had moments of being beautiful, contemporary dancers on stage. But all through, it was really, really, really technique. I loved it. I loved their performance. Onata touched almost everything. It was triggering though, because they had a moment that I was like, I want to understand what was happening. So there was a running theme in this entire dance thing. There were moments where people would show something that in your adult mind would click as sexual. Yeah, they all had those moments. Somehow every choreography on stage had it. And it was one move until I was like, what? Like, I don't know. Did you guys see each other's performances before you got here? But Onata was, had different themes going on, and that of sexual violence, which they handled shyly. And they handled shyly, and the limitedness of dance too, because that's why I think all these arts, if we found a way to put them closer to each other, they would make better sense, because dance can just do so much in terms of showcasing what they want to say. It takes written word. If someone is not going to speak, then you could have written word. You could have a singer to say something at that point, or you could get music and sample music and create your own thing with it. Like, I felt like that was what was missing from Onata. They should have had a word artist. They should have written something down. It would have helped, because at that point, there was a part of me that kept being like, are they showcasing someone, trigger warning, are they showcasing someone being raped? And I wasn't sure, because they made these sounds. They made a move. I wish there was a way to show you that move. Like, I would gladly. They made this move, and then after that, they started making things that we would associate with sex sounds, and someone was screaming. Someone was screaming, which Sue was screaming. I have a feeling it was Sue. Sue was screaming, and the people tore off, were like on her and everything. Then they're left on stage and they start moving towards the light. Yeah. And then they go to the back of the stage and everyone does the I'm dead move. I wish there was a dancer, they would get the reference. I'm dead. There's just that of there are always there's the magnet, the what. There's 6 moves that somehow dancers always end up like, if it's not the other, they end up with it's for closing and opening dance, and they did the I'm dead. I loved their costumes from the start. Their costumes spoke volumes. Like they had costumes and props. Yes. Oh yes. That one they did an amazing job. The person who did it understood it so well. And I loved the way every dancer played to their strength. It wasn't everyone is supposed to dance everything and then there is that gap. I always don't like it when I see that. And then there was no outshining. I loved watching their performance because they really danced with each other as colleagues and as comrades and as partners. There was no, I want to outshine you and I want to be seen as dope. Yeah. So for me, that's what stayed with me, the way they were so balanced that this person, they had this person who was, what is that? That thing acrobatics do where they juggle. Someone was juggling, I think, handkerchiefs. They were very light handkerchiefs and very colorful handkerchiefs. And oh my God, they were doing such an amazing job. They looked so beautiful. And then the bag, even their costumes, and then all of them had solos, you know, and they were dancing about 6 people. All of them had solos. So that is so, hey, all of them had solos. Do you know, like 6 people and everyone had equal amount of time, their own solos that are geared, and then they even had partnership dances. It was amazing. The way they balanced that space, it was amazing. Some you're going to greet as the same. It can't be Hey Babo and Oya Kodo. Imagine no. Imagine no. Either Hey both of us or Oya both of us. I want Oya or Hey for everyone. Yeah. And then before we got to the third performance, we had films. So there were short films. The first short film was by Kakitu by Marion Munga. Marion Munga has been in this industry for a minute. Oh my God. And she's such an awesome choreographer. I always love her concepts. She's wild. The time when Godal was still there, I don't know if I can say that here, but there is a show she did.
Do you know who's just joined us?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And then, bonjour, Sophie. Then there is Inside Out. Inside Out is a performance. So Kakitu was performed by, what's the name? Phobia. They don't use that. Briano. Briano is the one who performed Kakitu. Kakitu was based on just the noise of, I think, because the phone was the problem. So that's where I kept going back to, the noise that is created by all these gadgets and everything we've occupied our lives with. And this person is stressed and they like, yeah. Then Inside Out was created by Gaia. Inside Out, because I know more of the background of Inside Out. Inside Out was created by Gaia. Gaia is a badass choreographer and dancer from Kisumu. Who's also been here for so long. those are the people who taught me like dance theater and stuff. Gaia created Inside Out after they created Hanging Trees by Yawa. Gaia is a dancer in Yawa dance crew, and it was amazing to see her work. Then we have Water. Water is was created by Musa, and Water One was showcased on that day, on Saturday. And then those were all the films. They had 3 films, and that was everything. It was really, the films were really amazing too. I loved the concept of Marion Munga's film. She did an amazing job. The shooting of it and everything. And then Inside Out could have done with better shooting, but the concept was so amazing. The concept is the way depression works and mental illness. And that year, Yawa had been focusing on doing mental illness related performances. Water is based on just the way water moves, and water is here likened to womanhood and stuff. Yeah. Then we got back. We went for a short break. Did we? Yeah, we went for a short break. Think so. We had the interlude people. That's the time we went for a short break. Then the interlude person, and then now we had Ntimaru Nyagatari, the dance crew from Korea. Yeah, Korea Women Dance. So I don't know if Korea Women Dance, because I know that's not the name of the dance crew. I think it's the name of the performance. I didn't understand how they're called Korea Women Dance. I would have wanted to know why they were called that. Like, their dance, is it only performed by women and all that? Which would have made me want to know how many women were on that stage. How do they know? Okay, I told you this is not going to get political. So let me go back and stay my place. So their dance performance was amazing. In my place of speaking, I think those guys were high as fuck. Well, yeah. I really think so. And not in a way that I'm even mad about it, because it made them so happy. The way they were so happy to perform for us. Nah. No artist. It's about, ushaona venye nani? Irauka wana kasirika kenda stage. Well, because Saki Kwanza war, I still went into Irauka to cook for me. So I just want to say that those guys were very high and very happy. They were so happy that when we clapped for them, they'll redo the move. They'll redo the move. And
Incentive.
Which I hoped that someone would have taught them the courtesy of performance, that when you finish your performance, people get up and clap for you. But with them, whenever we did that, because they had time to finish, right? So whenever people did that and they were going to the backstage, they'll come back. Come back and show us, start a new song, show us. It was such an amazing performance. We were not complaining. We were not complaining.
So I am presuming Miss JN is from your side. Kwanza nimeona Erika amesema distinction ni lazima. Amesema Kodo knows some people are more equal than others. I want to judge oil and animal farm. So unaweza ambia Miss J what we are discussing.
Just stumbled
here. I'm enjoying listening to the discussion despite having no idea what it's about. We love such people.
So this discussion is about Dance Life Festival, which ended last week. And so I'm reviewing the acts from Dance Life Festival. Yeah, it was an amazing experience. Yeah, it was based on celebrating the life of Nairobi dancers, though the people who performed were not all from Nairobi. So I don't know if they want to review that name. Did I say that before? No, I didn't say that.
No, you did
Yeah,
not.
they said that.
Otherwise, Miss JN, unaweza kaa tu and just look at our faces. We are good looking, so that can also be some source of entertainment this Monday morning.
Well, so
Mhm.
so yeah, I loved the Korea women dance performance. It was amazing. I enjoyed it. I would have gone if I used spliff, like I would have gone and just be like, I want pedi wenyu, nipe, nama, now, because there ain't no way. There ain't no way someone is that happy to present their art over and over and over again. And then now to the mic's drop. These our faces are worth staring at. This moment that made me so happy in that performance was when they were finally told, like, yo, your time is up. I think the MC aliwapata backstage wakirudi for another performance. And then the MC, yo, your time is up. And then when they walked back on stage, one of them refused to bow. Like everyone was bowing and telling us like, thank you, as we were clapping. And this one just refused to bow. Like even when the others were trying, like, please bow with us, they were just looking at them like, I'm not bowing for shit. I'm not bowing. I'm the artist. How will they know? So that was something. That performance was something. And then the last performance of that night is from Seise production, which is from Musa's side. And wow, the performance was based on the struggle for freedom. It's called Ndiki, which I kept being like, which Ndiki, like which language are they using? Is it the South African Ndiki or the Kenyan Ndiki? And the South African one is like, it's about prosperity. It's a prayer for prosperity. It's a prayer for moving forward. It's a prayer for, yeah. So it's a spirit. Ndiki is a spirit, right? And then the Kenyan Ndiki, I think will depend with the language in Kenya you're speaking, which for me, most probably, I'll go with the one that I speak, one that I know, which will be like the Luo language, and it will be like keep writing, if I'm not wrong, keep writing or just write. And so I was, which one were they using? I would love to go with my Durban brother and believe he was using the South African one, which is the spirit of prosperity, love, moving forward, and all that, which still makes sense. Even the Luo one still makes sense. So both Zulu and Luo were right here. I loved that performance. Why? That performance found a way of what I was telling you earlier, of the meeting point of different genres of art, the meeting point of all these art forms of art that we do that on their own, they're just a good art. But when you put it with another one, you make a statement. And you know me, I've been such a big fan of using different art media to just like create and create. And there was music, there was the playing of the percussions. They had music, playing of percussions, and singing. They had at the same time poetry which was done by Miss Rabian for that time. And this performance was, the storyline they used was of Boniface Mwangi, the struggle to freedom and the struggle to self-realization. where it started from was really amazing. They had all these people in masks and they are pulling and they're tearing this person apart. And at the end of the day, what it was about was the fact that they could see themselves. And what these guys do, which I found so powerful, was starting to take off their masks. Not those guys taking off their own masks. These people just coming and taking off the mask because like, remove it. So they looked like there were moments of conversations, which were in dance, in choreography, but those moments of conversations were really amazing. The star of that show was Davila. Davila was I think, because Davila was the one who was representative of the struggle for freedom. They danced with this other person that I've forgotten their name. It was really amazing. That too was a show on that day, like it really stayed with me. There was so much, like, points were made throughout that show. The costumes were really thought through, that when you talk to the choreographer later and what that was about, it was so amazing, of talking about even whiteness. People do not address that in dance field because most of our projects, most of the things we do are really sponsored by white people. So you don't go, like what Thomas Sankara was saying, people don't fight the people feed them. Like the person who feeds you owns you. Yeah. So that I found it really amazing that he was willing to make statements like those. Even Black people's wanting to be in proximity to whiteness, and for that reason, the methods that they use to punish other Black people, the methods they use to handle other Black people are just like really white tactics, but they're using them so that they can feel better. And that's why specifically the masks were white. Yeah, so that performance on Saturday, that was the closing night. It was really, really dope. They did an amazing job of just making sure that all the way through, there was this consistency. There was no moment where they dropped in energy, right? There was no moment they dropped in energy. Their energy was consistent all the way through. Like they were hitting what they needed to, the talk, and then the way it ended was so beautiful. I am a fan of problems that don't have solutions, mostly on stage. I hate when artists give people solutions. Like, who do you think you are? Coming here and telling us, like, now you do this, now go and vote and change. What? Who are you talking to? So I really loved that when everything was said and done, everyone who was on that stage, they had like ropes that were tying them and pulling them back. Everyone was pulling their part. Like everyone was now doing their part they could do. And I love that people were at different levels of being pulled by this rope. I really love that. But there was no people on the same level. People were at different levels of being pulled by this rope. People were dressed differently. It wasn't one costume of this happening, right? And people are going to pull this rope at their own moment of understanding. I also love that. I really appreciated that. It wasn't end and then everyone picks their rope and wears the rope and go hang yourself. No, it was this person realizes, oh shit, what am I doing? And then they go pick the rope and now we fight this. And then another person and another person until the last one of them who remains and is looking at his hands and doesn't understand why he's still on stage. I love that. And then he goes and he picks the rope and they stay in that amazing wavy line of theirs. So that performance for me spoke so much. I loved the infusion of the different cultures because it was a meeting of performances by our South African choreographer and Kenyan artists. And so that meeting point where there was no point they lost the cultures of both places. the singing was very South African. The singing was very South African. It was the chants, it was the, yeah, just chants. What it was doing were majorly chants. Those things you can translate in English. You know what it means if you understand what they're saying, but you can translate them in English. Then they had, I love that Rebian actually did a Sheng piece, which was so amazing. I don't think, like, Kenyans could claim anything, but nothing screams Kenyan like Sheng. I don't think there's anything that screams Kenyan, like the way Sheng is spoken, and not the wanting to sound dope Sheng is, the wanting to talk to you Sheng. So they really had an amazing performance with the Sheng, the way they played around with it. And then the Nyatiti, they were playing the Nyatiti. That was also another thing. Kake Wakake was the one who was in charge of playing the Nyatiti. So they were playing the Nyatiti, which also made its point, made its major points. They had a percussionist, I think. I don't know who the percussionist was, but they had that. I don't know if it was Musa playing the percussions too. But yeah, Musa was majorly singing and just guiding from the side of the stage. The way they used the stage was also very, very amazing, because there was no time the stage was imbalanced. The way also people were moving on the stage, where there could be three choreographies happening at the same time, but they're not distracting from each other. They're in response to whatever else is going on stage. Yeah. So that performance was my highlight of the place. And I love that it was the last performance, because I don't know if I would have been able to sit down for another performance. I don't think so. I love that it was the last one for that night. Any questions? Because you're not there.
And I can tell that ilikuwa the highlight of the night, and vile explain, I also wish ningekuwa hapo na ni experience also, because nakuanga big equally on fusing different mediums for art, using different styles, borrowing from different cultures. And when an art piece is eclectic, it draws from different places, and when it's done well, it is something exceptional. So I appreciate your breakdown regarding day one. Ilikuwa pia niulize piece ya Arabian ilikuwa kwa lugha ipi na the impact iliplay kwa the piece, which
alikuwa na pieces mbili.
Kitu yenye siko sure ni whether tutakutrust that it was good based on merit ama ni kitu subjective. We leave that out of this conversation. Tutaendelea, move on. Pengine amekushikia gani nyuma ya simu?
Ako tu hapo wewe. We all know Rebian is asleep by now. Hata ajui tunamsengenya. Yeah.
And I also appreciate the breakdown the Korea group, because you can walikuwa part also of the workshop na the first performers pia, because I think I had seen niliona a snippet of their performance waki-cycle kwa page Goethe, I think a day before or on Sunday, so nilikuwa nimecatch a glimpse of kile walifanya on stage. So we will get to the second day. Oh, and also the other one umesema onata, see the light. See the light.
You guys are liars.
How you've also dissected that, and vile ilienda kuna a number of themes going on, and hizi ni conversations zile zina happen currently. They are part of the zeitgeist, not only locally but also globally. So we'll go to day 2, which was July 31st, and then to break it down, the other 4 dances, something that you may notice even as we get to, as you segue to the other performances, need things that I am noticing since I was there for day 2 and what you've mentioned for day 1, kuna recurring ideas za struggle, conflict, confrontation, as well as ideas za resolution, optimism, and beauty, which is something that I also noted na nilisema last week, kuna things that zilikuwa zina recur based on the techniques that wasanii walikuwa wanatumia kwa their performances and tying into the themes that walikuwa wana foreground. So you'll take us through the other 4 as we wrap this up, because I think for last week we shall break down the entire program, how performances ilipangwa, so tunaweza center on the four performances.
On Sunday, the interlude was Michel Ongaro. I got there after his first performance. I wasn't there for the first performance he did for opening this space. Yeah.
So something also that nime notice hata before uendelee ni, so both days walianza 6:30.
Oh, okay, cool. That's the thing then. That's the thing then. They're very consistent. So Adam is very consistent with his 6:30. The first performance was Within Fear of the Unknown, which was performed by Vincent Owoko, or best known as Vic, and Suleiman. This is a performance that I also know of because the original creation and performance of this was the photo that African began with. That was what we were creating. It was created by Seise Bagbo, Vic Owoko, and Tony Tesedo Oguko. When I went for this performance, I thought Tony was going to perform because he was there in the lineup of performance. Like when the poster that had Vic's performance, Tony was there. So I thought that Tony was going to perform. Tony did not show up. This is almost sounds like those news reports. We reached out to him for comment and he did not comment. But Tony didn't show up. I don't know why. So the performance happened with Vic and Suleiman. Fear of the Unknown, or Within as we called it then, Within is based on the fact that we are always very, very scared to make that first step towards things you believe in, things you want to do. And the original performance had dance, music, singing, and I know most of the time when I say music, you guys think that automatically it has singing. We are dancers. We could have music without singers. I just need you to know that we're not poets. Sorry, poets. We could have music without singing. So that's why I have to include both of them. At different points, we have music, and at different points, we have singing. And then poetry, right? It was a collaboration from people who do, what united us is we were all dancers, right? We are all dancers. We wanted to create. It was the first creation we did in Nairobi, which was the first stage performance for all of us, for all the 3 of us. That was why it was very important for us. It was assisted by Nema Bagamhunda and Adam Chenjo. The person who even created it to be what it is was Adam Chenjo and Nema Bagamhunda and Alakok, because they understood the performance scene and all that. So that work would not exist without all these people who really contributed so much. The person who did the set and making it look like a cool performance in terms of creating with us the ride was Alakok and Lucky Philip Rundu. Lucky is a camera guy, so maybe one time he only works with dancers though, so I don't know where y'all would meet him. I don't know where you'd meet him. If you were there, you'd have met him because he was there. So because it was dance, he mostly works with dancers when it comes to art. I loved like within watching it again on stage, and this time around not as a performer, but as someone who's outside, and what disappointed me, and this is personal, because it was a creation that I contributed to, is the lack of growth in it, that the fact that it did grow, right? I would have wanted to see what it would have become with Suleiman in, and Suleiman being quite a name in the dance space too, because he danced dance theater. And with us, when we got here, and that was the time Adam was teaching us how to do dance theater, not to just do choreography and technique, and look at my jeté, and look at my pirouette and everything, I can relevé and everything. I wanted to see what this becomes when other people who are not us do it. And you know, Vic has grown. So this was, you were talking about 2015. So this is 7 years later. It's literally 7 years later. And I would have wanted to see what 7 years has done to that particular piece, which I didn't see. And being someone who knows the inner and outer of it, I was really disappointed by that. Again, within was, it was really repetitive, because what has happened, which for me made me think that they did not rehearse it. I don't know if I'm judging. I'm judging, of course, I'm judging, not I don't know. I know I'm judging. So they did not rehearse it. That's how it felt. Why did it feel like that? They had these moments of laughs that, as a dancer, they had a lot of improv. As a dancer, you just know. They did a lot of improv and echoes. And when you look at it as a dancer, you just know, like, they're doing that because no one here knows the choreography. Only one of us knows the choreography. So you keep intentionally doing your part right after they do theirs, which is echoing. But we know when someone is echoing because it is an intentional part of the piece, or it is because only one of us knows the choreography. And because I'm a dancer too, I'll wait for you to do your move and then I do it. You do this and then I do it, right? It felt like that. And then with the missing parts of, that's also something that I thought that they would have replaced, the missing part of the singing, not the music, the missing part of the singing and the poetry. I thought that would have been replaced to make this amazing piece. But it wasn't replaced. So what was happening? And it was confirmed to me, because I thought I missed it because I know it exists, until someone asked me, did you feel like there were missing parts? And I know which are the missing parts. It's because this piece was really tied to music. It wouldn't make sense without it. It was really tied to the singing. It will never make sense without it. And even the poetry, it was really tied to that. And then the advantage every artist always take, then this I think is all over art industry. This is not just a dancer's thing, where you get two dope performers and you guys come on stage and think you do a dope job because you're dope performance. But you know, when you get to chemistry, you're starting from zero, meaning at that point you're all work performers, because one person failing is all of you guys failing, trying to figure each other out to work. There was no chemistry between Suleiman and Vic. They had none. So what it remained with is the time when they do their solos, they are amazing. Then when they are sharing the stage, like I really loved Suleiman's solo where it was from the floor light, when now he's like embracing his fear and dealing with it. I really loved it. They started so well with the costume thing. I don't know why they abandoned the costume idea, because right now it remained regular clothes, and dancers, you don't do regular clothes. Like, what? I was pissed on behalf of the entire dance community. What? Your regular stay-at-home clothes? I'm going to send my ancestors. No, someone just needs to slap you, like clap your face in darkness, in the dark, someone claps your face. What do you mean? I wanted to see them, like, the costume idea, where they started from in the darkness of that black costume, and then they got rid of it and they never used it again. Like, we all know props and costumes stay for life. Every artist knows that. Like, this is not just a dancer thing. I don't think you'd go with a chair on stage and stand in front of the chair the entire time, like just get there, sit on it, and then you stand, then you never use it ever again. You've wasted that chair, you've wasted it. And so that is something that I wasn't cool with. Like, why are you not using your costumes? You had really amazing costume when you started this. You got rid of the costumes too fast for me. I didn't feel like we stayed in that costume moment. And then all of a sudden we're leaving. And this could be both personal, the way you were saying the other one, Mimi, Ndiki Ndiki was not personal. This was personal because this is my work. Also, second, if you've gone ahead and do it without asking people for permission to keep doing this work that they created, do they know that nowadays people have lawyers and they sue your ass for shit? Like, what? Okay, cool. Like, let's say artists wanajitia mnazo, they pretend they don't know that people have lawyers that could sue their motherfucking asses. But if you were gonna do that, at least take the work and make it better. At least grow it. Because I know everyone in choreographic conversations, if they were to talk about this, they would know that that work has not grown. If anything, it has deteriorated, because I think with time also, he's forgotten, like, they forgot the choreography. So they had moments of filling in. And that's the thing about improv. If you're going to do improv and you have someone else on stage, coordinate your improv so that it's the same counts, or do contact improv. When you do contact improv, you're constantly in each other's space and it looks like you guys have some sort of chemistry. When someone is doing improv, running around, the other one is doing actual choreography that is not in the same counts with the runs, it just looks chaotic. And overall, we were not grading, but that was my worst performance of the entire festival. It was what life was. This is like, I would love to hear anyone else's opinion on it, and I would love to debate the people who performed it, not debate them, talk to them. But for me, what I left with, I was, no, you don't do that. I felt like they didn't put so much effort in making this become a thing, and it's because they're really dope performers, and what it leaves you with is just tons. The second performance of the evening is Neema Bagamhunda's Work in Progress. We always have this joke about Neema. Neema's entire catalog of dance is full of work in progresses. She loves it. Like, she loves it because she's always in the process of creating a thing, and her work is like, they're always 2 hours and it's a lot. So by the time she presents it, it's performance worthy, but she'll tell you it's still work in progress, and you wonder, what do you still want to add? Neema's performance, that performance was amazing. The performers for Neema's work was Briano. We see Briano again from Marion's short film to Neema's stage. Neema choreographed Briano and Maulid, who are also very dope dancers. I love the chemistry between these motherfuckers. Like, where? I loved I don't know if that was very intentional, but from someone who's ever been choreographed by Neema, I know Neema is intentional to the heights of the dancers she uses, to like their physique, in like the way they balance each other out, and even their technique. Because Maulid does more of Briano has, because I've known Briano for longer, so I thought that Briano has done dance. Briano is really a contemporary and ballet person, so it's a lot of technique. Briano loves technique, and Maulid felt like more of dance theater and just contemporary dance. He doesn't have a lot of, his contemporary dance is not influenced so much by ballet, and it looks also influenced by what is it called, lyrical dance. I really think Maulid's dance background is from lyrical dance, not ballet like Briano's, and that made them really balance each other out on stage. because Maulid would be like all mellow and everything, and then Briano is just cut through. I loved watching them perform. Those guys understand each other at an amazing
Who's the tall
level.
one and who was the short one?
Maulid is the taller one, and then the shorter one is Briano. Yeah. And the way they worked with each other, the way they worked with the space, the way they worked with the lights, and lights, of course, will be good because it's a la coque, like that guy, if there's one thing he understood is dancers need lights, like, and he's never looked back. Alacoque understands lights. And that's why it was so amazing to watch the performances all evening. Every performance that was on that stage, the lights were amazing. And Alacoque creates, that was like with the mood and everything. So they even work with the photographers. So that's why Alacoque and Lucky, they understand each other. They come and consult each other. Like, so that light, how does it look on camera? How does it feel when it's recorded? Yeah, and they work together, so it makes a lot of sense. They even have their photographers. So when you get your work from them, it's really comprehensive work. It's really amazing and beautiful work. I loved the work that Nema did with Work in Progress, which Work in Progress, Nema also does that work where she talks about everything. She'll touch on everything in different ways, in very subtle ways. Like that theme had greed, it had all this like freedom, it had struggle. She touched everything that could have been touched. Give me a minute. Yeah, she touched everything that she needed to. And that I found so amazing. The way she's always able to do that, that you won't ever feel her leave one thing to the next, but you know that she's not talking about something sort of different. Nema's understood dance theater to a way that even her choreography of someone raising their hand is something. I hope that at some point we understand choreography to that place, yeah? Oh, Africa moment. Oh my God, I'm hoping that Ida, hi. Ida is my choreographer. So this wild, this very wild. Ida is my choreographer. So yeah, Nema really did an amazing job with that choreography. I really, really enjoyed watching those guys perform. It felt freeing in the way that they expressed themselves. And then their chemistry was also very good, that in the way they moved, even in the moments of their improv, they were very aware of each other in the space, that even if they were not in contact, we knew that they knew each other. Like they knew that the other person is doing this and all that. And then the counts of their contact improv was also the same. I generally enjoyed that entire performance, from its technique to theater to how dramatic they decide to be. And when they're dramatic, I love that those guys, even in their faces, they were one. Yeah, the way they were choreographed, even in their faces, they were one. And Nema does that. Nema is phenomenal. Nema is amazing. I think that's one of the best choreographers I've ever worked with. Yeah, somehow the best choreographers I've ever worked with are women. But Nema really keeps me in touch with their emotions. And she did an amazing job with Maulid and Briano, considering Maulid and Briano are also already doing contemporary dance. So it wasn't much. And then the fact that she went with dance theater, then keeping them in technique, I really love that. Because most of the time when you keep people in technique, you lose so much. It becomes a recital instead of a performance. And that's the difference. That's the difference between performance and recitals. It's not a recital. It's people are supposed to feel something. People are supposed to break. People are supposed to feel all these things. And then you just keep bringing us to ha, 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 ha. Like we can do that. But in that moment, let people feel what the dancers are feeling and trying to communicate, which I felt Work in Progress did it perfectly. Don't ever expect Nema's pieces to ever have a name. Don't. They'll always be called Work in Progress. Then, after that, we had the film's break. Is this the time we had the film break? Yeah, which was Authenticité.
An interlude and then performance.
Yeah, Authenticité, Dudu Saidi, and Sport by Vincent Owoko and Mieka. Then there is Water, again, Water 2 by Musa and Sibongile. And so I really loved watching Water, considering I'd watched the first one. It was amazing. It reminded me of the way we used to create. And now that Ida is here, Ida had these ways where we would create, and when you're creating it, it's wild. When you're going to watch the video later, it makes sense. So that is the feeling that this gave me. It was really interesting. And then later, Musa saying that with him in Neverminds, they say instead of using cow dung before, they were supposed to use soil. But when they worked with the soil with the dancer, the soil didn't feel at home. So that's why they went and got cow dung, and she danced in cow dung instead. So dancers and creating weird shit. Yeah, it was so interesting with that. Then Sport was a collaboration. The time I think Vic they were doing a collaboration with Netherlands, I think, and that's when Sport was created. Sport was also very, very interesting in the way it was created. The way you can tell these people are in very different places, but their choreography was really in sync, and the feeling they were trying to communicate was very, very in sync. The part was when recording, if people use two different cameras, it's going to be fucked up when they edit it together, because there will be parts of the videos that are very low quality and parts of it that are awesome quality. So that is the thing. The video didn't balance because they were recorded by different people, and I think one was recorded using a phone and the other one was recorded using a camera. The camera definitely had a better whatever, and then the phone, definitely phones can't, like, I don't know which type of phone you'd have to have. There's still an element of camera-ness that phones can still achieve, right? And so that, yeah, unless you're going to add the lenses to your phone, and then now you can just be like, oh yeah, you have a phone that records like a camera, but you're using it as a monitor, and then you have lens. It was, that's the only thing that I noticed was about it. The choreography was amazing, the concept was amazing, until that point where there were different methods or ways used to record, and now when they meet, tashwishwi. And then Authenticité. Dudu has always created very creepy-esque performances, like even his live performances. I've always loved watching him perform though. And seeing that was so amazing. So all through it, I was wondering what it was about until the spoken word piece. I don't know if it's spoken word, it's just spoken word that he does at the end. And he's talking about like people looking for spaces to belong in, people looking for spaces to be art, and then people finding spaces, and still there is the restlessness of never being enough. He was speaking like everyone who speaks French faster than me was speaking, so caught what I could. So yeah, his performance was really, I also love that. My problem again was the recording, and I know we record with what we have. Yeah, I know that. Because songs you can record, when it's still on the phone, it's really good quality. You could post it on YouTube, it will still be very good quality. And then when it's just, they enlarge it and they put it all in this space, it now loses bits of its quality because the pixels are not enough for that size. It's understandable. I know the festival, I don't know if they could start intentionally providing, like the way they pay performing artists, they could pay the artists to create, before, like they pay them, they have master classes, they could pay them to create before, like the films, right? The short films. It will just be like, because the short films also occupy the time of performances, so it could just be the same thing. Then we left and we came back to, I think, my favorite performance of that day. And this is Table of Silence. Choreography and concept by Brian Ulo, and on stage with Pretty Lodenyi, vocals by Rebi. I love that performance. One thing which I felt bad about when people were asking me, so Kisumu guys, you guys really, really perform like this. I wanted to fight someone. I was like, you're very lucky. You're very lucky today I'm practicing being Zen. I'd fight you. And we are up here. So meaning if I fight you, everyone will see us fighting. That's why I'm not fighting you. Lord, how do you ask, what do you think we do in Kisumu, right? What do you think we do there? Like, we are also artists like everyone else. Dad, look at me. What? Why is that's such an insulting thing? The performance by Bran and Preeti was thought through, was amazing. Kisumu, we do a lot of choreography, and if you've noticed, if you'd have watched the first day and the second day of performance, you'd have noticed that this was also a performance that at least tried bringing a different art, which was the music singing by Rebi. Rebi was in absentia, but her music was the one that was used. Rebi is also an artist from Kisumu, so please. That performance in the way they use props. Now that's the wild thing. Do you know Vic was in the same dance crew with Preeti and Brian? So yeah, he was in the same dance crew. They really used, they had Table of Silence, and there was no time you doubted that table. Every choreographer will come back to that table. It's just the basics of having a prop. It's also the basics of having a costume and all that. Like, you don't abandon it unless there is a reason why. Like, because dance is a story, you have to tell us, why are you now abandoning this and picking this up? If you're going to leave the table, why are we leaving the table and now we're moving to a chair? Or why are we moving to the floor? Will we come back to the table? Is the story of the table done? How did we end the story of the table? That's how dance works. So but I really love the way they reminded us. Yes.
I would also add hapo kile umesema inagusia a same technique that was also used in your arms with the percussion, leaving it, building an idea around it, and then leaving it, and then coming back to it and still using it progressively.
Very, like, you can't leave your prop, you can't. You have to tell us why you're abandoning it, and it has to be a very progressive idea that you told us maybe you're using that prop as the version of your oppressor, why you're moving away. Like, we have to see that in different moments and different choreographies and techniques. They're all that. So with me, that's what I loved, the way, even when they left the table, there was still the reference to that table. Like, when they moved away from the table, there was still the reference. And the keep coming back, keep coming back. And Table of Silence is also, I told you, Yawa has been doing a lot of mental health. It was also just tied to that, of everything that happens within that space, mental illness, mental health awareness, the silence that is just around everything. And I really wanted to have a conversation to see what inspired Branulo to develop his work to this. Because, Diana Gaia is also in the same dance school. So they're all like, yeah. So that I wanted to know what really got him to develop, like every one of them developed a choreography out of hanging trees. Every one of them came out of hanging trees with something, right? I wanted to know why Table of Silence. And considering that he had toured Table of Silence, I told you work that has been presented for a bit is what occupies that second segment. And they were occupying that second beat. So I wanted to know, like, he's toured it, what is making him now introduce even Pretty. I wanted to know why. It was amazing though. The way he incorporated Pretty was so amazing. You'd never know. You'd never know. And then this Table of Silence, what was most interesting about it was this was the first stage performance. All the performances that had were all online. This was the first stage performance of it, with a live audience and everything. And they handled that panic that comes with that very well. Their costumes were spot on. There was no much, like it was just costumes. And also they're my people, so most probably I'm gonna even be more biased than necessary. Yeah, definitely I'm gonna be, there will be a part of this that is very biased, but Pretty and Brian, for that day, that was my favorite performance. I really loved the work they developed out of, like, that collaboration, the chemistry they had with each other, that someone will fall exactly where they're expected to and be caught in the moments that are expected to be caught. Then what I was telling you, that you notice Kisumu really has a lot of, we do choreography, which is something Adam used, like even that time got there was, wow, you guys need to have choruses and all that. Like we do the choreography of move and beats and beats and beats. We do a lot of beat work. I don't know anyone who comes from someone who dance lyrical dance. We all dance with the beat. We don't, there is no lyrical work. No. So yeah, there was that constantness and the way their energy never went down or at any point. There was that consistency with that energy. And you know, with dance, it can go up, but when it goes down unintentionally, we can see it because dance requires a lot of strength. I wish they had more breathing moments in their choreography. That's something that I would have, like moments of staying. They didn't stay enough in their stage work in the way that I wanted them to. I wish they had more of that, like just staying in those moments. I really wish that, because they had some powerful moments, but they were not staying. It was hit, go, hit, go, hit, go. Amazing to watch, but after some time, you wanna cling to them because we are running after them too. So I really wish they stayed, like moments of zen, stay, and then move, and then stay, and then move, and then stay. Yeah, I wish they had that, more of that. But
I think
anything else, they were
I
amazing.
remember I remember two of those moments. I think moja ilikuwa, and I've even shared a snippet of that clip. So if you're watching
Yeah.
this on IG within 24 hours, you might get it. Kwa YouTube, pole sana, isha disappear. But kulikuwa na hiyo moment, because hiyo hata ikuwa mwisho ya the choreography, really happened
Mm,
in between the choreography where walikuwa
mm,
wote kwa the table, wakaland together, wakastop with
mm,
the beat. The other one was when was when Brian, after some time within the choreography, alikuwa on top of the table and Pretty was
Yeah,
lying below, and both of them were lying. Then they
yeah,
stayed there for a bit, then wakaanza choreograph again. Yeah.
yeah. I really wish there were more of those moments because it felt like, oh, we finally caught up with you. Okay, show us more. And then we finally caught up with you. Show us more. I really wish they had more of those moments. I didn't feel like they were enough. We needed more. Like, give us more. I want you to rest more. I want you to breathe more on stage because we want to move with you. But when you move too fast, we are still, because the concepts they handle are really heavy, so we're still moving. Then I love the way they used Rebi's song and Rebi's sound, because Rebi is such a jazz sort of sound voice. Like, it's jazz, it's reggae, but there is this sultriness in our voice that it's really beautiful with the choreography, and it was so amazing to see how they used it. They didn't waste it. They didn't waste it. I was happy about that they did not waste it. They didn't waste it at all. And then to the last choreography and performance of the night, In Your Arms, or Dance Te Brass. The choreography is by Londa Mori. Londa Mori, I think I've met Londa Mori once because they really do a lot of classes. They have a lot of dance theater. Again, with me, I learned dance theater way after I left school. I didn't learn dance theater in school. I learned dance theater out, and a way of like performing in a way that people understand what you're doing. It's not a recital, it's a performance. Or as Adam says, Babo, chana na mkono za ballet. So, yeah, Adam and he's being against ballet and contemporary faces. Adam says there's a way what Wakonte look at him like, let me remove my spectacles and the hope. I get, there's a way he says, contemporary guys, we have a face like, look at mimi mtu wa container tembea. And then we smell the air. Like, all our noses, that the rocks smell. They always, is it called smoldering? What do they call it? That the rocks smell of. Look at us, look at us. We are contemporary dancers, and we're more important than every dancer in the industry. So I really, they really had to teach me out of dancing technique. I really thought to be a good dancer is to dance technique. Now I know to be a good dancer is to be understood, for people to know what you're talking about. To be an artist actually is for people to know what you're talking about. I don't enjoy being an enigma, and that's all puns intended, because in Memona, I don't intend to be an enigma or people to think, oh, there is this deepness, and create that deepness by making myself not understood. Like, telling people like, oh, if you're in the spirit, you will know. No, I'm going to tell you what the secret is. I'm going to tell you. You don't even need to ask me. I'm going to tell you. I have a big mouth. I'm going to say it. So I really have enjoyed attending. And that's why I think they had those things that we do before dance performances, where we like, people attend all these master classes, workshops. It's literally about teaching us performance, because you know technique, right? You know your technique, you are good. The thing is, now when it comes to performance, you don't know how to translate this to a place where you could say what you intend to say. And that's what you're being taught, to say what you intend to say. And I really, Ida was also here. Ida was also that, like, when Ida choreographed me, there was a time Ida was like, no, I don't want you to use your hands. what is dance without hands? Like, what do you mean? I want to fight you. These hands, you're going to catch them before I decide that they're not there. You're going to catch them. Like, and most of the time you'd be pissed off. I remember there was a time I was so pissed off at her. What do you mean dance without my hands? And that was the goofiness that Nema and Adam would do. Like, then don't kick in the air. And if you see their choreographies, rarely do they ever let you kick. They don't. They'll ask you, explain to me why you're kicking in this moment. I'm kicking because dance, I need to kick. Like, I need to kick and pretend I'm hugging someone. Like, what's wrong with you guys? That's the sweetness. And like, do you just want to showcase that you know it? Or do you actually want to communicate something? And so dance, in terms of communicating something, I learned out of school. When now I couldn't do recitals, I had to do performances and people had to understand me. And so, yeah, I really loved watching Londa Mori's choreography as presented by Shelly Nyako. And what made me so happy about that choreography was the fact that Shelly took their time. Where I was amazed, mind blown, because that's the confidence that as artists we are yet to get to. Like, we are always in a hurry to leave the stage. When someone is getting to watch us perform as artists, we are always in a hurry to leave the stage. I want to leave. And so our choreographies and everything that we do, it's always in a hurry. And the way Shelly took their time in moving, even it took them 10 minutes to get over that, for us to even see their face, for us to see like the big reveal, who this is the person who's behind this big percussion, right? And I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed Shelly's performance because of how much they take their time to perform, to show you that it's like, with me, there is a way. Also, Adam, still making fun of contemporary dancers. And he's a contemporary dancer, please. Still making fun of contemporary dancers and being like, everything is now in slow motion. And I love the way Shelly's slow motion is not where, like, there is these, what word did that person use to describe Nyashinsky's performance? Conceited. Yes, there is a way we have that in dance where, and that's where dance and poetry meet. Maybe that's why I went for both. They want to look deep. They want to look like you can see me, but you can't. Like, I could give you front row seats to who I am, but you still leave and you can't answer a question even about my name, you know? And it's what Adam really hated about the way we choreograph and the way we dance. Why are you moving like that? Do you want to invite people to your performance? And I really felt Shelly really captured us with that. Of there was openness to see what this is, see what I'm creating. It felt like we were watching Shelly create. It wasn't a performance. It was, I'm in the process of creating something, and I invite you to take front seats in knowing me and what I'm creating and what I'm about. It was amazing. It was beautiful. And the consistency of it, of going and coming back, and every time, even when it felt like she left us, there was always that, come back with me. Let's do this and do that and do that, and we move. And what is interesting is Shelly also had that move that I was telling you, the running move of the entire festival. So I would want to know, like, did people agree that at one point everyone has to incorporate the move? Was that the theme move? Because kila mtu had it. It was the running move. But I really loved the way Shelly never tired from constantly inviting us. That even when you'd feel, oh my God, we've watched this, like this has been happening for a while, they never tired of inviting us and bringing us back and bringing us back. I love the way their moves were not, they were not doing a technical dance, they were doing interpretation dance. I really loved that. It's been a while since I watched an interpretation dance, been quite a while. People don't do that much because there is the glamour of being seen as this technique person and you're able to pull all these moves, but those are for competitions, when you have a competition that you want to have something over. But when you call people to come and share in your story and your grief and your struggles, there is this, just the standard part of it, that you will have to let them in. You will have to make people feel that if I was given a chance, I would love to dance with you. Like, oh my God, I relate to what you're trying to say. People don't relate to jeté or pirouette or releve. No one relates to that. People relate to, in that moment, you were crawling on the floor, fighting a percussion. Who does that? You were here fighting a djembe that you've added feet to. That's something that I also found so interesting. Like, that djembe was taller than it's necessary, and that's the whole point of it. Like, you're fighting djembe that you added feet to. Of course, it's your fault that that djembe is your size. It's your fault. And I really loved what Shelley did with this. Then it comes to the visuals that was done by Sophie Meillour, and there is a way I always love visuals and the stories behind them, right? Like those visuals, the way they fill in the screen and disappear, and when they show up and when they disappear, was really, really intentional, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that it wasn't just to occupy the wall, and the time when they were ready to showcase them, they just opened that curtain and they were there, like they started showcasing them. So that was really, really amazing. And drums by Dunia Mori. And that's what I was telling you about people and their props. Like, Dunia came and played that percussion. This percussion that Shelley has fought the entire time. Dunia gets there and just sits on it and like, now let's go. And yeah, why wouldn't we want that? Like, that coming back and coming back. Like, we're reminded this is the same percussion that Shelley has fought, and Doreen is just like, I'm out. Like, with this thing, with me, I can beat this percussion to no one's business. And the way it felt like it was a breather and all that. And about staying in moments, you noticed that with Shelley. Shelley really stayed in their moments, like moments that needed to be stayed through. There was breathing, and that's why I feel they were able to collect us and go with us. Even the times when they lost us, they were able to come back. That's the thing that I fear with choreography. Choreography don't have allowances of bringing people with you and moving with people. The most advantage Shelley's performance could have had is when you are working as a solo artist on stage, there is the openness of doing as you please, that even if it was a choreography and in that moment of dancing I felt good, I could go back and do that and repeat it, right? But it's not there when you're working with someone else. Obviously, I'll confuse you if I go back on a choreography that we're not going back on, which meaning that we should have more openness in the way we create, more openness in the way that we move with each other and understand each other's spaces on the stage. Yeah, so this also like really came close to being, I think it was number 3 now of my performances on that stage. Table of Silence being number 1, and Ndiki Ndiki, then Dote Brass. Yeah, so I loved it. I really, really, really loved it. It was powerful. It was such a powerful theme. And that theme of struggle, yes, it was there. It was there constantly. But who is a contemporary dancer if there is no struggle? Have you ever seen any go-lucky contemporary dancer? Like, do you know these guys? I'm yet to meet a go-lucky contemporary dancer. Like, these guys are always fighting some demon somewhere, like returning someone to hell. It's like meeting a happy poet. Do you know any? They're always, if they're not fighting this government, they're fighting the next. And during elections, they're even busier. So, yeah, contemporary dancers have a lot in common with poets. And in terms of there's always something to point out. There's always something to point out. It's very rare that you find a contemporary dancer who's happy. Dance that I know is happy sometimes can be happy, has the potential to be happy, is jazz. Because yeah, and then ballet can also, like, ballet is almost I really think they stole a lot from Indian dances in the way that people can change their facial expressions, and facial expressions are very important in ballet. And I think that's what contemporary dance we also borrowed, facial expressions. But contemporary is more organic in the moment and in the moving, that it could move to anything and you could stay in your feelings. Ballet, it's more cut, like, now we are happy. I don't care if the last moment I asked you to cry. Now you're gonna smile, and I want those tears to disappear. So yeah, but that is what Dance Live Festival was about. I hope my breakdown has made sense. Yeah.
Yes, if you're watching this and you ulikuwa part of the Dance Live Fest, unaweza tuambia kama our bandit here
Yeah, I think every time I remember that this is gonna be live, like, you're not gonna delete this video, I want to take back everything I said, because I'm tired. I don't want to fight with artists. I'm too old. I'm too old. Like, if you could find a way of posting this without me, I'm too old. I can keep fighting. I can't. Yeah. Somehow it always ends up like, if the artist doesn't see it, it ends up with their fan, and well, but dance is very niche, so I am hoping
yes,
that's what
it is.
protects me. That's what protects me. Protects me, yes.
It is very, very, very niche. And so
Yeah.
maybe if not the people wenye walikuwa involved, if not a number of them watching, namba kidogo, maybe watu wenye tu wananga hizi Sunday sessions later, because it's us, it's Sanaa kwa sana. So and maybe hawakukuwa kwa the show, so hawatakuwa na vita na wewe or anything, unless ni wasanii wenye perform na wanaona hii na wana disagree na kile umesema, but apart from that uko sawa, which tuna appreciate the breakdown of Dance Live Festival day 1 and day 2. Imekuwa wholesome na comprehensive. One thing apart from the aspects that I mentioned before, wanze kuongelea day 2, na vitu pia that umetouch upon, the consistency outside of the themes, or the motive that you mentioned ilikuwa inarika as if ilikuwa the theme. I think the intentional aspect of it ilitaja last weekend, and you've mentioned it, ni how the lighting ili blend beautifully with the performances. Something that I appreciated a lot. For all the performances, the light changes, hata and they did stand out with Pretty starting kwa hiyo meza, and kuna spotlight focusing kwake as Brian came in. So hizo intention zilikuwa hapo, with Shelly kwa the last performance. After kwanza tumeanza with again focused spotlight moment, and then we build for 10 minutes akiwa nyuma ya hiyo percussion, and then she starts coming anaipanda juu and moving around, and light ili change depending on the intensity and the tempo and the emotion. Yeah, those different moments, going back to within, fear of the unknown, hiyo time when Suleiman was alone kwa stage na kulikuwa na light moja mbele,
His solo
and at
was
some time ingine
amazing.
ikakuja nyuma, so kulikuwa na hizo intentional moments with all of this, and the lighting, even with the work in progress ya Neema ikianza, when just walking kwa the stage pole pole, the temperature of the light and how it was following them, na even the music zili blend vizuri sana. And music is also another aspect that I greatly appreciated, the choice of music for these performances and how they brought out what was happening, kama ni emotion or for dance moves, something that really note. I've also seen, based on how you've described it, it seems kulikuwa na costume focus more on day one than day two, something that I noticed just based on how you described the costumes for day one. So for day two, apart from Briano na Maulid in terms of the costuming, and kulikuwa na more focus from on that day one. Kwa within fear of the unknown, after, because there is a tension that hizo costumes zile walianza nazo kwa Suleiman na Vincent ilipeana, so and wali build that moment kwa the start. It was a bit dark for the stage, tunajiuliza what is happening, and in a build until they are breaking free, and ulisema accurately, they do break free, then they keep up with the choreography and they perform hadi wanamaliza. But apart from that breaking free na kuanza ku face easy encounters na moments za fear, si ati the fear and the unknown disappears, and now kuna levels of confidence and being courageous all through the performance. Kuna still moments of dealing with uncertainties and dealing with fears, and hizo zingekuwa opportunities za going back to what those costumes were in some way or another, to still communicate that idea, because bado the struggle was there throughout the performance.
I don't even think there's a point where they overcome it. There was no point they overcome it. So like even going back into those costumes halfway, there will be days I'll be brave, there will be days I'll be so afraid. Like going back halfway would have made better sense than abandoning those costumes in the first 5 minutes of a choreography that took 45 minutes, 50 minutes. Like what? It didn't allow for that.
I think ilikuwa maybe 25, because the performance ya Shelley was the longest at about 40, because nakumbuka ilikuwa from 9:40, 7:45 maka around, ama 7 or 9, 8:45 hadi around kitu ka 9:20 hapo 9:25. So yes,
oh my god, that performance felt long.
The
one for within felt long. It felt so long. In my head,
you didn't like it, so you'll feel forever.
Let's get out of the stage. No. It took so long.
The other 3 performances were 20, 25, 20, 25.
Yeah.
So, and something that also Uli touch on, and I wanted to also ask, was whether walibadilisha. And this is something that we are constantly ranting about ikikuja kwa spoken word performances, where someone will perform a piece ya 1990 in 2022, and it's the same in the same.
These children have no shame. Shame is not something they know.
This is beyond accurate, because Babu ashasema ni kama ume to preempt that spoken word na dance have a lot in common.
At least rapper neza change. Aongeze wase. Rapper will try, and the more they grow and get comfortable in their cuss words, add bitches, motherfuckers, fuckers, like whatever, in different spaces. Spoken word and dance is alike in that way. Mostly contemporary dancers and poets and spoken word artists, they're alike in that way, that
Ninaona.
that you'll have to push them to make them change something. And that piece didn't grow. And for me, that was the biggest disappointment of them all. Like, why? You have the resources, you have the time, you've had 7 years. It would be such a lie. If you didn't have the time, that you should have created something else. You should have created something new. You've involved a new person in this performance, meaning you're supposed to grow it because this is a new idea. This is a fresh way of thinking. I expect it to grow. I expect it to become something else, both as someone in the audience and someone who created the original piece. I expect like you're going to grow this, you're going to make more points about it. I thought that they would have at least a live singer or something, those recorded talks where it would make sense to what they were doing. And there was still nothing, none of that. Where? Nah. No, that's not okay. That's not okay. That's okay. Years and years. Nothing? Not okay.
Yeah, spoken word na dance much more alike than different. So I wanted to ask that kuhusu how the performance ime transition ama vile ime transpire tukicompare how it was in 2015 na how imekuwa in 2020, especially even outside of the idea of the time that has passed, the concept that wali give na walisema wana focus on had to do with struggles za men. So I wanted to know, since ulikuwa part of the first creation, if
Yeah.
that was anywhere for the performance. So if that's something that I was curious about. For Table of Silence, kwanza nilikuwa najiambia hii meza ni study hivyo, it's that strong. Nilikuwa na
Yes.
wakiperform kwa hiyo meza najiambia yo, and even the delicate moves and how walikuwa in sync, wali execute beautifully and walikuwa kwa count. I enjoyed that. I wanted to ask if kulikuwa na any idea in some way regarding relationships, if that was something, but something that I noted even with that table being there, that kulikuwa na an idea ya control tied
Yeah.
again to struggling na conflict. But there is that something that you may notice pia with how you described day one is that the final performances for Musa na for choreography ya Mori done by Shelley na Dorian is that those last performances for both days wali combine different mediums. Because sasa walikuwa na a
Yeah.
drama live on stage na kulikuwa na visual arts by Sophie, who was here with us some moments ago. And yes, walikuwa na the most time on stage. If there is a way I can describe that performance, is gentle and elegant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got any other thoughts?
No, there's nothing. And also talking about usage of lights on stage, Onata also did that. They had this moment of a club scene, and it was a club scene. We didn't need the alcohol. And the choreography they had there was of people staggering. I swear those motherfuckers can stagger. Like, I've never seen someone put their heart into staggering like that. And being a dancer, they even stagger on counts. Like, yo, they stagger on counts. They stagger on counts. That was also a very promising, I would love to see it developed more, because there were a bit of moments that were lacking, but I really would love to see it when they're really confident in their presentation of it, because it had 3 parts. Yeah, it had 3 parts. It had, and their parts would be shown with the change of costumes, and they're the ones who used costumes the most. Like they were the performers who used their costumes the most, like the very most, and their costumes would tell you the feeling to have. Yeah, I love that they used them so wisely. Um, the start, I would have wanted to know what that start was about because it felt like the in the beginning kind of starts like there was Mumbi and Agekoyo and then Mumbi, yeah, it felt like that. So I would have loved that explanation to why they began the way they did, and then why they did the dead man as their final move. I would love to know why, because it felt like everyone was gonna see the light, and we had these hopes. Then motherfuckers just dropped and died. And I was, no, we're not gonna have a happy ending. We brought us so close. Yeah, yeah.
So before turuhusu Babu aende after ametusaidia sana, the last question ningeuliza ni, and you touched on this ukiongea, how much would you say, considering that the theme ilikuwa unpacking the Nairobi dance scene, how much would you say the Nairobi dance scene was unpacked as you conclude?
First, this is the first dance festival I've seen in Nairobi that they've authentically brought people out of Nairobi. They've intentionally done that. Most of the time, they always bring them as a sprinkle. They don't bring them as people who have potent ideas, people who are their own people. And that is the snobbishness that comes with artists who were born and raised in Nairobi or artists who've majorly practiced art in Nairobi. I think there is a belief that there is no art anywhere. And so the way they act and the way they treat these artists who are not from Nairobi is very, and so I really told even Adam that I'm so happy you guys have intentionally done this. So many art spaces in Nairobi do not feature Kisumu artists. They do not care for Kisumu artists. They do not care for any other artists who are not within Nairobi or its environs. And even within its environs, it's always just Nairobi. And even in Nairobi, they're just those particular artists that you see when you go for things like this. I was so happy. Yes, they've done it in their third edition, but that's a way forward. We could upload that. Upload is it. So that's the way they introduced those artists this time around. That's something to me. That's something, and I appreciate it. Yeah. Anything else?
Was the so umesema scene ilianpakiwa from Kisumu to Nairobi?
Yes, it felt like that. I can't say they and really unpacked like the Nairobi scene until I started behaving like a poet, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing your work for you. I started behaving like a poet of explaining, oh, it could be deeper. What if it means that how artists who are not from Nairobi interact with the Nairobi dancing? So for me, that's what I thought it was about, because there were so many acts that were not from Nairobi or of artists who were not in Nairobi. And so I thought that was what it was about. Unpacking the scene, they did. The dance scene, they did. Unpacking the Nairobi dance scene, the one, unless I reason it out like the poet, I didn't feel like if it's just literally unpacking the Nairobi dance scene, I would have expected to see them discuss all these things that hold us back. I would have expected to see that. I would have expected to have moments with the artist where they explain all these things, right? The one thing why I miss choreographic conversations, because they used to have that. Choreographic conversations, you could pretend you're deep. After dancing, people have been writing notes. There are journalists, there are critics, there are choreographers who came to watch your show. And after that, you're asked, why this move? Why did you do this? Why at this point were you like this? Or this and this? And you have to explain yourself. You can't pretend to be a superstar. They refused for us to pretend to be superstars. And so I really think they should have done that, mostly with the choreographers. Maybe not the artists, because the artists do what the choreographers want. So just ask the choreographers why, even telling us why they chose Musa, and because there's so many art choreographers, right? So why these particular choreographers, why were their works the only ones showcased? And how do they relate to the theme after all? So I didn't feel they unpacked it in the way that I thought they intended. Yeah.
Yes, that is one aspect of the festival that I was also curious about. Nilikuwa nimesema that was the final question, but I'd love you, Babu, before wende, utumarizie, utupatie your overview currently the Kenyan dancing.
African. Jameni. Ni usiku. Ni usiku. Ni asubuhi, but ni usiku. Kesho ni election. Ni nini? Ni nini? We're bringing in a new president. What is it? What is your problem? Please sema tuweke kwa manifesto, because you can't live like this. You can't keep living like this. It's the same thing that I told you that day, that I really would love artists to collaborate more, and not just dancers to collaborate more with their dancers. I would love us to challenge ourselves to collaborate with artists from different spaces, right? Different spaces of art. And as someone who's done that, I've done my bit of that. And one thing that I can say, there's a way it changes you, and there's a way it grows your art. Because dance is beautiful when it's still dance until you're dancing to someone talking. Like, what am I even dancing to here? Things like those, until you're dancing to someone who's not even singing a comprehensible song, you know? For me, that is it. Like, you're dancing to bass guitar, and it's not for entertainment. You're supposed to be able to communicate what the person playing the bass guitar is feeling and saying and living in their moment. I would love that. That is the one thing. So I don't know if this only applies to the dance scene. Dance is a very niche space. I would love them to get out of their spaces. And here I intentionally use them because I have the spaces that I occupy. I rarely even meet dancers. I think in the last 1 year, that weekend was the first time I was with the industry that I could say is my industry. All this while I've just been hanging out with the poets. You wonder about the kiburi, I got it from them. And in live concerts. And I would love to see dancers do that. Like, come to all these spaces where art is practiced, art that is not yours. Visit spaces where you're not the star. And still see if your thinking around your art remains the same. Try themes that you're not aware of. Try do things that you've never done before. And the dance scene, from what I saw, I love that the generation that came before us are starting to choreograph. They're not trying to die on stage, which is something that we do a lot. We don't know when to tap out. We don't know when to say, cool, I think I've had my run and I'm good. They are like, people fight to stay relevant when you could just choreograph. I really love the route that they've started taking. Choreograph, raise new generations of dancers, raise better just do better with the next generation of dancers. I don't know if I'm doing my part. I tried with poets. I can say I've given back so much when it comes to dance. I've trained children for a while, but I don't think when it comes to dance, I've given back as much as I was given. I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe I've done it with everyone else. I don't know if we were talking about Open Friday last time, if that counts, but yeah, just give back, and leave your spaces. Go to other people's spaces and try and see. Yeah.
And there you have it from our resident pundit Babu.
Yes.
Uko na nini ya kutupatia leo? Do you have song recommendations?
Where are we focusing? Kwanza kabla nipeane. Kwanza leo umenipata live. If you refuse my list, you refuse my list. When you umenipata live, you refuse my list. Beyonce alisema anatoka Wakanda. So Break My Soul by Beyonce. Anza kuandika. Alisema anatoka Wakanda. Yeah. So andika Break My Soul by Beyonce.
We are done. You can now go.
I'm so happy that for once nimekuchosha.
Unazaenda sasa.
Imagine usinitoe. I'm contributing something very important. You've just refused. Considering that aliplayiwa Rebi Muziki, Freedom. Rebi Muziki, Freedom.
Rebi inaandikwaje?
R-E-B-I.
Nimeipata. So naona last week na hii wiki, of which tuli carry forward wimbo ya Babo ya last week, ametupatia songs from people who were part of the festival. So Rebi, and then last week alisema Michelle Ongaro Safari. So we have those two from Babo. Asante sana.
No. Mpaka mwenye nataka kuadd nimesahau.
Sahau.
That's not how you live with people. I just want to tell you that, imagine.
Unaweza ifikiria nikisign up. Maybe you'll get some few moments alafu itarudi. So why not? Ikirudi unaweza sema.
Nile daughter. Imerudi. Nile daughter Jeshi. Jeshi.
Okay.
Jeshi.
Sawa. Unajua napenda Jeshi.
Obviously.
Vita.
Ni vita tu. Huko ni vita tu. Huko ni vita tu. Post these parts too. Ambia watu ukipost whatever I've said. And then they decide. Niko ready for vita pia. Vita pia tunaweza. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. Asante sana. Tunashukuru for joining us and helping us understand Dance Life Festival. Imekuwa very comprehensive, so tunashukuru.
Thank you so much for having me.
Haya, huyo ni Babu. Mkiwa na beef, mtafute yeye. Hizo views zilikuwa zake. Hebu enda nani?
Wow. Hizo ni tabia gani? I thought you said you defend me with your everything.
Mimi nilikuwa na facilitate, so yeye anamuongea.
Wow. Imagine we cannot live like this. Kesho napata divorce letters. Tumeachana. Walai, tumeachana.
Hawezi kuja hapa alafu unanitishia na talaka ati divorce papers. How? Hmm? How? A professional who's been doing this for more than a year, almost 2 years. Ya Sanaa kwa sana. Hizi lives zilipita 1 year recently. Then you come and threaten me here. Z, as I've said, if you're watching this na wewe ni msanii mwenye umepokea diatribes from Babu, mimi ni facilitator. Nilikuwa hapa tu kuuliza maswali na kusikiza, as you've watched, as you've experienced, as you've witnessed. So mtafuteni, yeye ndo mtakuwa na vita na yeye. Umesikia amesema vita anawezana na anapenda vita. Mtafute, ushughulike na yeye. Asante sana for watching this. Tumekaa hapa for 2 hours plus 2 hours and 36. Nimeisema at exactly 2:36:36, which is insane. Serendipity is all we know at Sanaa kwa sana. Babu is just crying. Anafinya tu button ya kulia. Amelia tangu nimtoe kwa hii live. Analia tu. At 1:42 am on this 8th day of August 2022. Kesho ni elections. Nijuliza hivi last week kwa mziki ya wiki 8. Incidentally, kama unapiga kura, kwa sababu hiyo ndio part Sauti Sol imeamua kuenda kuambia Wakenya wapige kura na wa make wise decisions, whatever wise decisions mean. Najua nimeanza hivi, nitapea Babu another reason ya kutuma request kuja live waangalie Sauti Sol na hizi ngoma zao, na sitaki. I am trying to get a job at Soul Generation. The bag ahead of anything else. Tunashukuru sana Babu for joining us and sharing your insights and your expertise regarding the 2-day Dance Life Festival 2022 iliyo happen at the Kenya National Theatre in cooperation na Kenya Cultural Center na Goethe-Institut. So a quick rundown before nitoke hapa for the 4 dances. They were Within, Fear of the Unknown by Vincent Owoko and Suleiman Maningi. The piece is about fear of the unknown within us as a person, within us as a community, and the struggles men gone through to fit in the society. It portrays the fear of growth in a judgmental society. It also brings out exploration of opportunities within and around us. Babu anasema nimetafuta hii job for so long. Ati if I were to have to, I would. If I were to have it, I would. Wewe usi kill destiny yangu, ubu relax. Hiyo kazi nitaipata. Work in progress ya Neema Bagamuhunda. Performance ilikuwa by Briano and Maulid. Neema is currently developing a new piece for the Dance Life Festival, which will confront the current pursuit of fleeting values like money and fame and the loss of spiritual and moral values that results from it, as well as the impact on mental health and decaying human connections. Table of Silence by Brian Olo na Preeti Lodenyi, also known as Predictor Lodenyi. The idea is it will showcase a riveting dance duet combining different styles of contemporary dance into something wholly unique and dynamic. Joining from Kisumu, where Brian is based. In Your Arms by Luanda Mori, performance by Shelley Ohene Nyako and Dorian Mori. Visuals ilikuwa by Sophie Meillour, who was here earlier. Yesterday was our first interaction because nimeshare the last clips nilizokuwa nazo from the festival, Table of Silence na snippets of Table of Silence na In Your Arms. The other performances I had shared them on Sunday and I believe maybe Wednesday, so I had for these last two, and so nime interact na Luanda, Shelly and Sophie a few hours ago, which was beautiful, and I thank them for that. In Your Arms is inspired by the female archetypes. Something else about that performance, look on a lot of symbolism. It's inspired by the female archetypes, and it springs from the desire to highlight femininity throughout the world, to explore the protective and receptive qualities that characterize it, and to honor the figure of the empowered woman. The piece brings into focus the issues of miscegenation and cultural awareness through movement and music, based on an original soundtrack blending rhythms of India, Brazil, and Africa. Juu Babu ananikazia maisha akisema kazi ingekuwa yangu nilikuwa nimeipata. I reiterate, kama unataka vita umtafute, nao amenikasirisha sasa. Hazel Pila alituma ngoma zake, alia akisema iwapo hata make it, here are the songs, watu ambao tunapenda kwa sana, people who participate hata wasiposhow, na najua ana watch this baadaye, so asante sana Hazel. Wairimu, kama una watch pia, let it be known kwa comment section that umepata hii wisdom from Pabo, our resident pundit, mwenye anaweza amua kukasirisha sometimes. From Hazel, the songs are Burden by Ondi Madete, Another by Mumala Maloba, Lights Out by Favor Mutuma featuring Faith Kimani. I think Faith Kimani ni Nasi. I was thinking of Phyllis Kimani. Alichangingi jina lake. And then Ngamani by Maria Gakenya featuring Analo Kanga. Watu wote, most of them nimewaficha mahali. Muziki ya wiki, Ondi, Analo, Maria separately. Tuko na the 3 songs from Babo Safari kutoka last week by Michelle Ongaro, Freedom by Rebi na Jeshi ya Nile Daughter. My songs are 4 na compensate for last week. 2 songs by the Scorpios. Moja ni Yael Hajarok, which is They Leave You For Me. The other song ni Ujo Aiden, which is They're Coming Back. It's from one album. The 2 songs are from one album. The other song ni by DCC. It's a band. Ngoma yao inaitwa Nalala Kwa Tabu. Na wimbo wa mwisho ni by CK Man. Song called Fa Wakoma Mami. Ni kutoka upande za Ghana. Diversity na Sudan, Tanzania, Ghana. Msinange hivi bana. Haya basi. So next week I'll go back to Kenyan choices. Nikisikia wa Kenya sana, nijipatie break na kuwa recommend. Shukran for watching another Sanaa kwa Sana Sunday session. And that is our last song. And tutapotea after ngoma imeisha. Kwa hivyo tuonane kwa session ya next week. If you're watching this within the week yenye imetoka na unangawa Sunday sessions, whether on IG or YouTube. If you're watching this 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a year, 5 years, after imetoka. Tuonane kwa another Sanaa kwa Sanaa video. Thank you for your time. Our opening song, of course, hukuipata ni Jaber by Dylan S na Vivian Olang. I believe nimeifeature kwa mziki ya wiki several weeks ago. Our last one ni Chimes. Hii ni from the debut album by Monrea, who's been here before kwa hizi live sessions featuring Mandy off her debut, the intro ya debut album yake Her Art ama Heart, which nilireview. Find time check.
She listened to the melody of her heart. Change, change, change. As she taps into the universe within, traveling through a vortex of flashing lights and beams. Breathe. She reminded herself her eyes was a dream. She couldn't decide what she felt. Was it real? Was it real? Was it real? She felt a rising, somehow exciting. Her world's brighter, her head lighter, her heart warmer. Past so far away, the present so well equipped. So faded away. Her mind looked like the summer day. Higher, higher, and higher she was, unmasking ravishing. Yeah. Welcome to